That's that.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. I'm going to go ahead and call this meeting to order. First item is the Pledge of Allegiance. If you may all please stand. Right hand over your heart. Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, everyone. Roll call, please.
Director Quady? He
Here.
is on.
I am here.
Thank you. Director McMillan? Here. Director Pacala?
Here.
Director Robert is absent. Director Avila?
Here. Okay, thank you. We have a quorum. Item 2 is public comments. This portion of the agenda may be utilized by any member of the public to address the board of directors on any matter within the jurisdiction of the board that does not appear on the agenda and on matters that are on the agenda but are not designated as action items. Depending on the subject matter, the board of directors may be unable to respond at this time or until the specific topic is placed at the agenda at a future Calleguas board meeting. In accordance with the Ralph M. Brown Act, please limit remarks to 3 minutes. Would any member of the public like to speak? Please raise your hand. Okay, no raised hands. Item 3, items to be added to the agenda. Do we have any items to be added to the agenda? No items. No items. Has the board had time to review the agenda? Item 4.
Yes, I did.
Okay.
And I just have a few questions on consent agenda, item number 6, B and C, I believe.
Okay. Do we have any presentations?
We do not tonight.
No presentations. Okay, consent calendar. Sounds like we want to pull aside item B and item C. What questions?
I just have
And
questions.
C, we have a presentation, so I would suggest we can do B and then do the presentation and then do any questions on C.
It's just one question I have. The question is, what was the scope of work for the $21,000 extra services?
So good afternoon, board members. So the scope of work for the $21,000 additional was for additional weed abatement that we had to meet for the fire notices that we get as we get growth that comes back. So there was an additional growth after we made our first cut. And that created more work for us.
So in other words, because the wet weather increased vegetation has caused extra work.
Correct. Normally we get it done by July 1st. We had the work that was completed. We had additional growth and we had to have that vegetation.
Okay, very good. Thank you.
Thank you, Omar. Okay, presentation on item C.
Yeah, Fernando Baez, our manager of engineering, will be providing a brief overview of the project that we're asking the board to approve calling for bids on.
All right. Good evening, Board of Directors. I'm going to share my screen here. And minimize some windows. So it's very good. Okay, so tonight's presentation is on the Calleguas Conduit South Branch strengthening for the Metrolink Southern California Optimized Rail Expansion, or SCORE for short, improvements, project number 614. So I will give a little bit of background on the Calleguas Conduit South Branch. This is our second largest feeder in our system. It's composed of a 51-inch diameter pre-stressed concrete cylinder pipeline that was constructed back in 1964. It crosses Union Pacific Railroad right away. Within that crossing, the pipeline is partially encased in concrete. Another portion is in a steel casing, and the remaining of the pipeline in that Union Pacific Railroad right away is backfilled with slurry. So it's located, this crossing specifically is located just west of the Metrolink station in Simi Valley, as shown in this exhibit. And this exhibit here coming up here, there we go, shows the pipeline crossing within the Union Pacific Railroad right-of-way. In red is the limits of the right-of-way. The blue line is the pipeline. And if I can show my pointer, the magenta color, light aqua blue, that's where the pipeline is in a steel casing. The darker blue is the concrete encasement. And then towards the bottom here, I apologize, the colors aren't coming through as good as I was hoping. That small portion there within the right of way is slurry backfill of that pipeline. So again, this pipeline was constructed back in 1960s. And since then, Metrolink has notified us that they are planning to implement some improvements throughout their service area. Specifically here in Simi Valley, they're planning to add a second railroad track throughout their corridor. And back when we installed this pipeline, we were not planning for a second train track. And because of that second train, loads over our pipeline will increase. Additionally, Metrolink has also notified us that the existing crossing needs to comply with the current standard of today, not what we installed it in compliance with back in 1964. Now we have to comply with their requirement. Specifically, as shown in this exhibit at the bottom, the pipeline within the right-of-way is required to be within a steel casing. And as I mentioned, when we constructed this pipeline back in 1964, only portion of the pipeline was in a steel casing. Some of it is encased in concrete, and some of it is backfill in slurry. Also want to point out that when we executed this project back in 1963, we got permission from Southern Pacific Railroad, who is now Union Pacific Railroad. That agency granted us permission to construct the utility crossing. As part of the permission that we received, Union Pacific Railroad reserved its right to direct Calleguas to relocate, move, alter the pipeline at our own cost if they directed us to do so. So these improvements at our cost, as we agreed to that back in 1963. So as I mentioned, Metrolink has required us or notified us that we are required to comply with their current standard. In order to do that, that would mean that we would have to abandon the current crossing and build another parallel crossing underneath. It would likely involve trenchless construction to tunnel underneath their right-of-way so as not to significantly impact the railroad right-of-way operations. And it would take years to plan and implement because obviously we can't just take out of service our second largest feeder. We would have to plan for permits, right-of-way acquisition, and then do the design and construction. So as an alternative, we reached out to Metrolink and proposed strengthening the pipeline from the inside instead of putting it in a steel casing. Specifically using fiber reinforced polymer liner to strengthen the pipeline to meet equivalent structural strength that would be provided by placing the pipeline in a steel casing. This approach would eliminate disruption to train operations. It would significantly shorten construction duration because we're not doing excavation, tunneling, and also carries lower risk during construction than would a trenchless operation would. And again, it would be significantly less expensive than the traditional approach. So we went ahead and proposed that option to Metrolink after some design work and correspondence with them. Metrolink approved the alternative design. So a quick background on what is carbon fiber reinforcement. This is an operation that's done from the inside of the pipeline. It's done, you install the carbon fiber system using existing manholes that provide access to the inside of the pipeline. As you can see this photo here on the right, that's one roll of the carbon fiber that will be carried to the location. It would be applied with a resin and allowed to be cured. And after a period, that carbon fiber system would cure and provide the same structural strength as a steel casing would. And again, it would not require excavating. So tonight's staff recommendation is to adopt resolution number 2114, approving the plans and specifications and calling for bids. approve capital project budget allocation in the amount of $1,900,000, and approve professional services by Phoenix Civil Engineering in the amount of $136,000. And that concludes my presentation tonight, and I'm happy to take questions.
All right, thank you, Fernando. Questions from the board, Director Pacala?
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. The existing easement, is it in fee or is right?
It's an easement. It's not.
Okay, all right. You mentioned
Take it back. It's not an easement. I'm sorry. It's a permission. We've received permission. So we don't have an easement. It's a permission
It's
to.
only under permit,
Yes, it's a permit. Yes.
so we have less rights, I guess.
Yes.
As far as the existing pipeline, you mentioned a portion of it steel casing rather than cased. Do you know that was because of the strength requirements and why two different type of construction?
Looking back at the records, it looks like the steel casing was part of the original construction. And I've seen files that show that we completed a repair back in 2006, 2005. And that involved the concrete encasement. So I think the concrete encasement came years after
I see.
when we performed a repair there.
Okay. Other questions are, is it the first time Calleguas is using this carbon fiber reinforced polymer?
It is not the first time. No,
First time.
no, it's not. We've just over the last 12 years, I believe we've had at least 2 or 3 projects.
We've used them in a couple of different situations. We've used them for emergency repairs, or not emergency repairs. We've used them where there's been too many wire breaks in the pre-stress pipe, but there's only a small segment. And this is a really cost-effective strategy because you don't have to do any excavation. We've used it to address the risk of broken back failures on pre-stressed concrete cylinder pipe. Actually, Fernando managed a number of those projects. So I think we've used it at least 5 times since I've been at Calleguas.
So that was my question is, we have had experience.
We have.
Reinforcing.
That is correct.
And we are happy with
The performance, absolutely.
Yeah, and it replaces the entire strength hose pipe.
of course, yeah. Okay, thank you. Good report.
Thank you.
Oh,
Director Quady has his hand raised.
Thank you. Thank you, President. Yeah, I just had, what I didn't hear, and I'm sorry, I can't look at my annotated version, but I think you had a second set of eyes look at this before you approached the railroad again, and they proved the load from the carbon fiber retro. Is that correct?
That is correct, Director Quady. We went ahead and prepared structural calculations to demonstrate that the carbon fiber system does provide the equivalent structural strength. Those calculations were prepared by a registered engineer experienced with this type of technology. It was submitted to Metrolink, and their design engineer also reviewed the calculations and ultimately agreed that this was an equivalent option as the steel casing approach.
Excellent. Thank you.
Okay. Director Robert?
Yeah, thank you. First of all, I think this is a fantastic and innovative approach to a problem that would have been very difficult to address. Was there a rough order of magnitude on the excavation and steel encasing compared to this?
Probably in the
Or
upward
just knew that it was
$2.5 to $3 million. Yes.
So why don't we have this as our primary option rather than the steel encasing?
This is one of our primary approaches, as Christine was pointing out, whenever we have to address a PCCP, a pre-stressed concrete cylinder pipeline that has a number of breaks, wire breaks. This is one of the options that we would be implementing instead of a direct replacement.
So even if it could be excavated, this is generally the preferred.
We would evaluate the 2 alternatives if we are located in an area where excavation is very doable and we have access to it. As an example, across the street at the sheriff's station, we replaced 1 stick of PCCP pipe to add an air vac, and it was very straightforward. We already have an easement, and we have the right to be there.
Okay.
We have staging area, and it was cost effective to do excavation there versus here.
So there is a trade-off point. Okay,
Yes.
thanks.
Okay. I do have a question. Director McMillan, do you have a question? think I've probably asked this in the past, but what sort of prep work goes into this? What chemicals or adhesives are used in the installation?
Mr. President, great question. So and I actually have some photos here if I can. The preparation involves preparing first of all, there's a lot of work on the front end by our operations department that requires us to isolate, dewater the pipeline, be able to provide ventilation and a safe working space. So once the contractor has been given the green light to enter the pipeline from these manholes, the pipe that is the section that's going to receive the carbon fiber, we have to blast the surface to create a rough surface for the resin that's going to be used to grab onto the host pipe. So there is blasting of the surface. And once we have that surface prepared, we also go to the joints, go all the way down to the bare metal of the pipe.
Mhm.
And that's where we're going to terminate the carbon fiber system at the pipe joints. So we prepare the surface, clean it, dry it, remove all dust, and then we start applying. Oh, here's an example of where we get to a joint. This is where we would be terminating the carbon fiber. We make sure that we are exposing the steel can. These rolls of carbon fiber are prepared in the back of a box truck where the resin is applied to both sides of the carbon fiber roll. The rolls are rolled and dropped into a manhole. Somebody is waiting for those and transporting them to the location of application. And then they just start basically like a wallpaper, putting it in a specified number of applications in the both circular or circumferential direction as well as the longitudinal direction. And that will provide the structural strength that we're looking for. So it's basically prepare the surface and then start applying these rolls.
Have there been long-term studies on the performance and longevity life cycle of this carbon fiber?
Yes, right now there's actually a lot of interest. I believe at University of Texas A&M is looking to prepare a white paper and to discuss the performance and longevity of these systems. Originally, back when this technology was being used in the late 90s, I believe, it was relatively new for the water industry, and it was believed it's going to be a 30-year, 40-year life expectancy, but we're seeing that they're lasting much longer than that.
Our oldest installation, I believe, is 2001, and the last we inspected it a couple years ago, it looked like it had been installed the day before.
Wow,
They hold up really well.
They do.
incredible.
Yeah.
And adhesives, any concerns with toxins or anything being added to the water?
No, the materials are NSF 61 approved for use in potable water service.
Okay. Perfect. What's the cure time on it?
Typically, I want to say 18 to 24 hours. So we track cure, we track humidity, and then we have what's called pull tests to determine that the resin has cured. So there's tests that we perform as well.
Okay. Great. All right. Thank you for taking my questions. Anybody else have any last questions? All right. Thank you, Fernando.
Okay.
And with that, looking for a motion on the consent calendar.
I make a motion.
Second.
Okay, we have a first and a second.
Director Quady,
I'm sorry, before the motion, I want to ask about 6B as well. I just want to make sure that so the remediation on that is that we will be notified before future work is done instead of done and look at it after the fact. Is that kind of the remediation we're doing?
Yes.
Yes. So if there's a need for us to ever go over a contract, we will come to the board before. And as future steps, we're going to have quarterly reviews of our contracts on expenditures and budget balances to prevent this from occurring again.
Thanks so much.
hey, Director Quady,
Well, I guess I thought you had a first and a second, right?
yes, now doing roll call.
Very good.
Okay, so yes.
Aye.
Okay,
Yes.
thank you. Director McMillan,
Aye.
Director Pacala,
Yes.
Director Robert,
Yes.
Director Avila.
Aye. Okay, the motion carries. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Fernando. Item 7 is the action items. Item A, approve changes to the 2026 district dental coverage and authorize the general manager to execute the agreement with Aqua JPIA.
Yes, Tricia Ferguson, our Manager of Human Resources and Risk Management, will provide a presentation on this item.
All right, so if you suffer from dental anxiety, you're gonna want to look away from this present.
We felt that way.
That's a real thing I've heard. So Calleguas has not made any adjustments or revised our dental contract since 2009. So as we head into open enrollment for 2026, it seemed like a good time to look at our dental contract before we move forward. So a quick overview on our benefits. Our current dental benefits provide coverage to all of our employees and their dependents, and includes directors and their dependents as well. Currently, all of our employees and our directors participate in the dental coverage benefits. PPI shows that dental services have increased 40% over the last 15 years, was about the last time we looked at our contracted benefits. So looking at our current benefit, which is option C provided through Delta Dental, using JPIA, Aqua JPIA, our annual max benefit is limited to $1,500 annual maximum benefit. Preventative care, which is your cleanings and x-rays, are covered at 100%, with basic services like fillings covered at 80%. Major services such as crowns or dental surgeries are covered at 50%, leaving employees to pick up the other 50%. Orthodontia is also covered for dependents under 18 years of age. So as you can see in the board agenda, we are asking the board to consider increasing our 2026 dental coverage from an annual maximum benefit of $1,500 to $3,000 to keep up with the rising costs and stay competitive with our benefits package. In addition, the basic coverages will also increase as part of that for those basic services from 80 to 85%. There are 3 different PPO options with JPIA. They're creatively named option A, B, and C. We are participating in option C with that $1,500 annual maximum benefit. In our survey of other water agencies, max benefits did range from that $1,500 up to the $3,000, with the majority of the agencies falling really around the $2,000 option B plan. However, when you compare the monthly premium increases, the value of that option A to option B difference really does add a lot for our employees, with the increase being minor between the two, option B and option A. So that's why we're recommending to pursue option A. The increase will also increase those coverage percentages that I mentioned earlier, which were at 80%. They would now be at 85% for your fillings, root canals, and any gum treatments that you need. The fiscal impacts for the 25-26 fiscal year, it'd be about a $20,600 increase, but we are able to fund that through our benefits budget with no mid-year adjustment required, which Dan Smith loves. So our staff's final recommendation was to ask the board to approve the increased dental benefits to option A, raising the maximum benefit amount from $1,500 to $3,000, and authorize the general manager to approve their agreements with Aqua JPIA for that amount. So I will open it up for questions and the board to.
Okay. Thank you, Tricia. Questions or comments from the board? Dr. Pacala.
So it appears we haven't increased the benefits for a number of years. When was the last time?
Well, as far back as I can go back with a signed contract is 2009. But if I can ask, I asked some of the experts who have been here longer, they say it's been $1,500 as long as they can remember. Yeah.
As far as available benefits, right now you're showing the A, B, C options. Is this something new, or we have had these options same last 15 years?
I believe we have had options. I don't know how the options have changed over time. 80% used to be the standard when JPA put their rates out this year. They did note that they were able to increase that 80% to this 85% on those 2 higher level plans. So that is new.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Okay. Any other questions or comments from the board?
Has there been any general interest from employees that the benefits plan wasn't up to par or grumblings?
Yes, I've definitely.
Okay.
I mean, people are gracious for the benefit package that we have, so I don't want to call it grumblings, but they definitely, it does come up that,
I'm just trying to,
postponing this service until the following year when our benefits renew again. So.
just trying to gauge public interest, I guess, or not public, but staff interest.
We don't have any of those same concerns with our vision plan.
The vision plan, I'm not sure that we have as many options to choose from. I would have to do a separate analysis and bring that to you for that, but.
Okay. Just want to make sure employees are being taken care of.
Yeah. I think vision plan is something that we should definitely be looking at in the next year or so, because there are coverage amounts that have come up, such as contact lenses and stuff like that, maybe not meeting people's needs, but.
Mr. President, I support option A mainly because the difference between A and B is minimal.
Yeah.
And our employees would benefit, as Tricia mentioned. That makes sense to me.
Okay. If no additional questions or comments, I'm looking for a motion.
Make a motion.
We have a first, we have a second.
Second.
Okay, we have a first and a second. Roll call, please.
Director Quady,
Aye.
Director McMillan,
Yes.
Director Pacala,
Yes.
Director Robert,
Yes.
Director Avila.
Aye. Okay, motion carries. Thank you, Kara. Thank you, Tricia.
Healthy staff is happy staff.
Okay, item 8 is reports. Item 1, July 2025 water use and sales, June 2025 power generation, and July 2025 investment summary reports. Dan Smith. Good afternoon, Dan.
Afternoon, directors. So tonight we have the water use and sales for the month of July. So to start off, we sold 7,977 acre feet, which is pretty close to what we did last year. So we're kind of on pace for that, but based on the new budget that we presented this year, which was 75,000 acre feet for the entire fiscal year, we were a little bit under budget. So last year we were quite a bit over, which helped us, but this year we're starting out a little below. First month of the year, not concerned. It's only 200 acre feet. So really that was really pretty close. And again, here's some more graphs, shows that there's that little gap in there in the first month for July that we didn't quite make budget, but you can see that over the last 12 months, there's months we go above budget and there's ones that we are short. So this is pretty typical for the year. Kind of to run through the metropolitan water breakdown. For the month of July, we had total water sales of $11.1 million. We did put some water into storage, $113,000 worth. We have our reconciliation adjustment to get to the total water purchased of $11,300,000. We've got our capacity charge, our RTS charge. We did get some more LRP funds back for Camarosa and Camarillo. And then we have a little bit coming for the conservation program to get us the $12.2 million for the total Met bill for July. These are the big bills. These are the ones that we're buying a lot of water from them. To look at the SMP discharge, we're starting off ahead for it finally, but I lowered the expectations, so that did help. So we are pretty much right where we thought we'd be based on the new numbers. So we're at 74.9 acre feet of discharge. We budgeted 73, so right where we should be. And then power generation for the month of June, because this one runs 1 month behind. We were a little short of our budget. We brought in $85,000, almost $86,000, and we should have been closer to 93. But overall, we were definitely above budget by $20,000. So we ended up making sure we made the budget this year. So that was a good sign. To go over the revenues, you can see that for the month of July, we brought in $15 million. Year to date, it's $15 million. It's the first month. But we're a little bit short by that 2.2%. So we're expected to be 10.5, but we're only at 10.3. So it's pretty close. Recycled water sales continues to do better than I expected. We've already got 23% of the budget in. Pretty small numbers, but still nice to see. SMP, you can see we're right where we should be. They're the 0.2 off. So we're really good. And power generation, you can see we ended up at 103% of what we had budgeted. So that was a nice thing compared to the previous couple of years. And lastly, our cash balances did increase for the month. I kind of without the restricted investments part, because that was all for our bonds. That was the bond money going out to actually pay the debt service. Without that, taking that into consideration, we did bring additional money in when we're looking at revenues over the expenses for the month. So we brought in about almost $2 million extra for the month of July. And that is all I have for the water use and sales, unless there's some additional questions.
Good stuff. Have questions or comments from the board?
No.
Scott's got his, sorry,
Dir-
Director Quady.
Director Quady.
Hello, yeah, Dan, just want you sure you don't want to say more about that power at 620,000 for the year? Is that a largely more consistent flows from the East Portal?
Yeah, that's a lot has to do with East Portal. You know, with the drought and us not getting the flows that we needed, we were definitely down for the last couple of years. And we started to pick back up last year, and this year we were able to meet budget. So this is a good thing.
Yes, it is. Thank you.
I was just gonna ask about the S&P increase there. Is that due to Camarillo?
It was pretty close to where we were in the previous years. Last year we had 77 acre feet of discharge, and this year we had 75. So that's was consistent.
Yeah.
And so I was hoping that it was going to be going up in previous years, that Camarillo's plant was going to kick in a little bit more.
More, yeah.
They've kind of leveled out at this level. And so this is kind of where we ended up being.
Thank you, Dan. Okay, all right, and now we are moving on to discussion regarding the potential addition of a health reimbursement arrangement option for board members. Tricia. Back.
Soon. Presentation mode here. Sorry about that. All right. So the item we're bringing for discussion today came out of our January 22nd board meeting. We added the medical premium reimbursement option. At that time, we were asked to look into a health reimbursement account for the directors. In May, we did bring the results of our survey to the Finance Committee, where we were directed to look at the budget impacts of the HRA if the limit were set at the $15,105. So that's what we're bringing for you guys as the board collectively today. Okay. Quick overview of our current benefits as outlined in the admin code. Show option 1, which provides medical coverage for directors through the same CalPERS options available to our employees. Option 2, which was added in January, was to reimburse medical premiums for medical coverage purchased by the directors. And as always, we have the option to waive medical coverage if the directors are receiving coverage through another employer or another source. Currently, our medical benefits are confined to cover directors only. However, with the HRA, the funds are not restricted and could be used for dependents. The proposed benefit does fall outside of the coverage we are providing now in the admin codes. That specifically limits benefits to directors only for those elected after 2012. Here are some highlights of a health reimbursement arrangement, also called an HRA. Those funds can be used to pay for eligible expenses such as deductibles, co-insurance, and co-pays for the subscriber and dependents. In this arrangement, the employer funds the account and owns the account. So any funds left unused would come back to Calleguas at the end of the year. Funding amounts are also set during open enrollment, and so those could be adjusted annually as well. I wanted to briefly cover the survey results. We can share what's going on at other agencies. We received responses from 30 agencies and categorized them into 5 categories on how they were providing their benefits. Here are the 4 agencies that provide HRA options to their directors and the funding amounts. There are some variations between how they are administered at each district. So Santa Clarita Valley Water offers the HRA as an option in their benefits. They can have direct district paid benefits or opt into the HRA. The other 3 agencies offer the HRA in addition to their district paid benefits, and these same 3 agencies are mirroring their employee benefits essentially. So the directors are receiving equivalent to what the employees are receiving. Santa Clarita Valley Water District, is the only agency that's providing benefits that are outside of what the employees are receiving. Right now, we currently have 3 directors receiving medical coverage or reimbursement through the district. in order to do our budget analysis, we did have to make some assumptions. So with the addition of the HRA, we would assume that the two directors that are receiving medical coverage through other employees or sources would take advantage of the HRA funds that expand the benefits outside of the medical premium coverage. And using that 15,105 amount that was suggested at the committee meeting, the estimated budget impact would be 42,000. Obviously, changing the funding amount would adjust the budget impact as well. So with this information provided, staff is looking for direction from the board on how they'd like to proceed. If this is an option that you'd like to pursue and move forward with, we would be looking for direction on an amount that you'd like to set to bring back to you guys for a vote. Then the answer to those questions will determine our future action items, budget impacts, and admin code changes. I'll open it up for discussion.
Okay, thank you, Tricia. Questions, comments from the board?
I do have one question. Can you go back a slide?
Absolutely.
So I believe when this was brought up a while ago, one of the budget impacts was the benefit that directors currently utilizing the healthcare from the district, but have the option to utilize other healthcares would be able to reduce our costs by utilizing other healthcare and just supplement the difference. Is that something that went into the budget calculations? The assumptions, I guess?
Yes, so the $42,000, I'm trying to make sure I say that. So the $42,000 would be in addition to that. So what benefits are being used now, whether it's the reimbursement, which is less than participating in the district paid premium benefit plan, that is in this number.
Okay. Thanks.
And that's why it doesn't equal out 15, 15, 15.
Right, okay.
Exactly.
Okay.
I think it's a great benefit for the board. Remember, we're always talking about trying to have other packages and benefits and what things to get the younger crowds to come in, and I think that'd be good. It's actually much more beneficial for the old folks. Because once you go on Medicare, I'm not allowed to get insurance from anybody else.
Oh.
Having this HRA would allow me to at least offset some of those costs. And I can't offset the per diem, so I still have to pay. But costs that Medicare, where that gap is, would help. And I like the idea that, again, if I don't use it, it just rolls right back to the
Yeah.
district.
Yeah.
But that's money saved.
So, for example, Director Robert and myself who have insurance through our work, how would this work exactly?
I'm happy to volunteer my personal situation. So I currently take the option of the health care through the district. It would allow me to go back to my primary employer and take advantage of that healthcare and then reduce my premiums to the district by just offsetting the co-insurance that I would have to pay. So in my case, and it's going to vary director to director, it would allow me to reduce that amount, which would help kind of balance out the give and take. But the net benefit is across all directors, there's the ability for a net benefit with give and take of increase and decreasing depending on your situation.
And also you could apply your dental if because before you had the 1,500, which just approved 3,000. But again, any of your costs above that, you could apply that to the HRA and get that covered. I did that when I was up at Santa Clarita and it helped a lot.
Got it.
It's very similar to an FSA or something like that. So you would have a benefits card. You could use it for your co-pays, your deductibles, those amounts.
Is this a common trend amongst districts and move towards a dynamic HRA kind of program?
I would say that wasn't what we found in our results. Typically, the HRAs are offered if they're offering a high deductible plan, health plan option, then they will supplement with something like an HRA to help offset those premium costs.
Any other questions or comments from the board? Director Pacala?
Yes, so if you can go back the previous slide, please.
This way or this way?
Okay. So these are the only 4 agencies that have HRA, correct?
Out of the 30 that we surveyed, yes.
Correct. And you also said something about Santa Clara is the only one, which I didn't follow that.
Oh, okay. So out of these 4 districts, Santa Clarita Valley Water District offers the HRA as an option, similar to what we're presenting here today, where you choose one or the other. The other 3 districts offer the HRA in combination with their district paid premiums. So you get this and this.
Right. Right. Okay.
And that could be because they're offering high deductible health plans.
Okay. So it's certainly going to add benefits to the or certain directors, I guess not all the directors, some of the
It would add another option.
Okay.
Okay, Director Quady.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I just had a question. Is this anything like, or is it completely different from, it sounds like Calleguas is pooling the money as opposed to what I used to remember as a health savings account where you actually put in your own money, but it was tax-free, tax deductible, and then it ended up being your medical stuff. But of course, that worked kind of the same way where you did not, if you didn't use it all, then it ended up being Uncle Sam's, I guess.
Yes, it is similar to that. This would be fully Calleguas funded. So the directors would not have to contribute to it.
Okay, and that's 40,000 a year for each one, or that's a total for all?
Well, the amount we used to analyze was $15,000 per director.
I see.
That was based off the premium and amounts of the CalPERS, of the highest CalPERS premium plan.
And how much does this increase personnel time?
Well, I mean, there's definitely some administration, but it's minimal.
Okay.
You would have a third party administering most of it.
So another question is, you are saying the maximum of 15,000 benefit? Is that what I was?
That's the number we used from the committee meeting that the finance committee came out and told us to use for the evaluation for the budget impact. Now you could pick a different amount as the board and say, we're going to cut that in half or we're going to double it. So that's up to you guys, but that's what we use for.
I understand. I guess my question is, I guess finance committee, if Santa Clara is using 6,300, why is it 15,000?
I don't know.
We picked 15,000 because I'll go back up here to where our coverage amounts are. So $15,105 is the amount of the premiums for the highest CalPERS medical.
Oh, that's a maximum ceiling under CalPERS.
Okay, so this would make
This
things,
is
It just,
make things an equal option.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, he's taking CalPERS and I'm not, it would just be the same.
Yeah.
Got it. Well, any additional discussion from the board?
So again, that would be something, you could decide on something less. So in other words, 6,500 would be what Santa Clarita was doing.
Depending on
Correct.
Santa Clarita's other insurance.
And they're variables, right? I would keep things fair and equal. Personally,
Because this is only one piece of their calculation.
yeah, I don't know how they picked 6,300 for an individual.
How their other benefits stack up. Okay.
What I would suggest is, instead of going to the maximum of CalPERS allowed, come up with a lower number. That's what I don't know what that number should be.
I don't think it's the maximum CalPERS allows. This is the same amount that our insurance
could potentially pay.
can be depending on which option you take.
Yeah.
I see.
Yeah, I
Oh,
mean.
so that's a combined number is what you're saying.
No,
No, so if you're on, I don't know what the highest option is.
First PPO plan.
But if you're on the CalPERS PPO, that costs the district 15,105, is that what you said? So instead of that, you would get another insurance through another provider, and you could supplement that with up to an equal amount instead of your CalPERS PPO. So it wouldn't, like, I am on the district's health insurance, so I could go to my other employer, take that, and mine would reduce by just my copay. or whatever the difference is. But it couldn't go beyond what the district is currently paying for my health insurance. It's in lieu of or instead of. I don't know if that helped explain things or complicated.
Yeah, no, yeah, it is complicated. I'm not sure I follow really what the additions are and whether or not it's a match unchanged, a big increase. I'm not sure I understand.
The way I see it is if all 5 directors were to take the most expensive option of the insurance that the district offers, it would be the same amount.
That is correct.
So nothing gained, nothing lost. It's the same. It's just a different path to get the insurance. Okay.
So what staff is looking for is that we brought this as an information item, a report tonight to gather your input. There isn't an action before you tonight, but we would like some direction on if you would like us to bring you an action item, and if so, what that looks like.
I would like to see an action item approving what's been presented.
With the 15,105?
105, yeah. And that would change annually if you guys wanted it to change with the premium amounts of the PPO. And that's how the option B works as well.
Is that the general consensus of the board?
I would like all the board members to be confident with their decision based on, I don't want anybody to be uncertain or confused, so however that has to, I'm clear on it because I asked questions about this specifically beforehand, but if Director Brady isn't completely clear, I'd prefer if he was before.
Well, when they bring it for an action item,
Yeah.
they'll
Yeah.
give another presentation.
Okay.
And timing wise, it will not be at the board meeting next week. Would it be okay for us to do it in the October board meeting?
I don't see why not.
Okay, then we'll plan to bring it back first board meeting in October.
Okay.
This gives us a little more time, and that way we're not doing it on the agenda for the retreat, which I want to keep as light as possible.
If, and something to consider, just because I think different employers have different open enrollment. And so I could see how this could confound with if our open enrollment is before another employer's, then how does that switch go and what's a qualifying life event?
You are correct.
Okay, timing wise, does that mean we need to bring it the 17th then?
Yeah, I would
Okay,
definitely. That would give you guys time to make a choice between the HRA and
And I don't know when the open enrollments are, but
it's September to October.
okay, we'll bring it on the
does
17th.
it change based off of employer or coverage?
It may change by
I don't know if it's the same.
the carriers, so
But they tend to be generally around the same time of year
I think
in order to hit the new count.
somewhere around September to
I think it's
November.
First week of November.
ours starts in September. I believe it's mid-September, so like September 13th or 18th. And then it will go through a couple weeks in October.
All right, well, we will
Oh, so
bring it sooner then.
Correct. Okay, we'll have to see.
They do not align perfectly.
Other questions or comments from the board? Nothing else. Thank you, Tricia.
Thanks, Tricia.
Okay, general counsel report.
I'll just point out, as you can all see from the agenda, we do have 2 closed session items tonight. And for a brief update, I was able to jump on a call with Charlotte and the legislative analyst with respect to the drafting of some laws that could affect fire response in Ventura County, water district responsibilities with respect to providing information concerning fire infrastructure. The only reason I mention it is it was really interesting to be on the side of looking at the law as it's drafted instead of sitting on the other side of the law, just interpreting it once it's done. So Charlotte and staff are really working hard on that issue to make sure that it's written in a way that benefits Ventura County and Ventura County.
Is that in relation to the Assemblymember Bennett's bill with
Yeah.
generators?
It was Bennett, yeah.
Yeah,
So they've been going around and around about language and
there's a lot of concerns with that out with our purveyors. I heard about them this morning. Some of our purveyors are going to be facing bills of between $12 million and $21 million if this passes. So that's concerning, and I hope we're doing what we can to oppose this.
We have not taken a formal opposed position, but Charlotte has been working extensively with our purveyors, with Bennett's office, with Bennett's staff, with Bennett himself, try to shape the bill as much as possible Charlotte, I know you're online. Do you want to add anything to that?
Could we oppose and still work with him to make it not as bad if he's gonna push it forward anyway?
I'll let Charlotte answer that question.
Because
Good
I
evening.
personally would absolutely oppose that.
Right.
Unburdened cost on our purveyors.
So just for your knowledge, President Avila and board members, so several of our purveyors have conveyed their opposition to the assembly member. They've testified in committee, they've sent letters. The two major obstacles right now, as you said, President Avila, are cost and also liability. And I do want to thank Walt for his help with some of that fine tuning of that language with Aqua. Aqua's been very involved as well. So as Christine said, we've tried to be sort of a facilitator and be helpful to shape the bill as well as we can, but we know there is concern out there. So yeah, I'll leave it at that.
How does the rest of the board feel on this?
Well, I support facilitating because some, I'm sure, will support this and others won't. We have so many purveyors.
Do we have any purveyors that support this?
Well, if I may, Georgia Pacala, so the Ventura County Board of Supervisors early on in the bill process took a 5-0 vote. Ventura County Fire is very supportive of it, as is the California Professional Firefighters Association. So we have some, strong constituencies, I will say, on both sides.
Okay.
I think Thousand Oaks opposed, right?
Correct.
Formally.
Correct. Thousand Oaks, Camarillo, City of Fillmore. One more I'm not recalling off the top of my head, but yes, there have been several.
And I know Simi Valley is meeting on it, I think, next week.
Yes, they are the other one who I believe took an opposed position, President Avila.
Yeah. Okay. Because that's something that could be brought up to the board, longer discussion about the currently what's on the bill and maybe bring it to the board to see whether we support or oppose this.
I will say that it is almost at the end of the legislative process. It has passed, the first house and the assembly. It is in the Senate at the end of the process. And the effort at this point would probably be to the governor's office. But I'm going to speak rather candidly, we are in a year where there's been some devastating fires and there is a push to have fire preparedness. And this is a bill that attempts to do that in Assemblymember Bennett's mind. So yeah, I mean, we could talk about it next week potentially. I'm sorry, I might be getting ahead of myself, Christine, but I'll leave it.
Charlotte, I am looking for your expertise in terms of timing. At this point, obviously, we have a board meeting next Wednesday. I have to do the packet after this board meeting. So there's not a lot of time to it. Charlotte is planning to do an overall state and Fed ledge update next week, but in terms of timing for us to intervene, it's very limited at this point.
It's very limited. And President Avila, for your reference, as you may recall, back in, I want to say early February, we did a 3.5-page letter to Assemblymember Bennett on behalf of all of our purveyors, outlining every single concern that they have. As a wholesaler, we are exempted from the bill, but on behalf of our purveyors, we have been very active and we have conveyed our concerns to the Assemblyman.
Great, and that's exactly why I think it should come to our board, because it impacts our purveyors so heavily. So be good to figure out where all our purveyors stand and where we want to stand.
Timing wise, if we brought something to the board on the 17th, would that be too late in the process to be meaningful? I just don't think it's realistic to be able to pull something together for the board to take action on.
Right. I don't think that's too late to try to do something with the governor's office. At that point, it will probably have cleared the legislature. And the governor has until September 12th to sign bills. So unless he,
September 12th or October?
Pardon me, September. So we're talking, pardon me, I'm off a month. Yeah. No, October 12th. I'm sorry.
Thank you.
Thank you for the correction. Sorry about that. Yes, legislature adjourns September 12th and the governor has a month to sign his bills.
So I think then perhaps our best path forward is to, Charlotte will do her state and Fed ledge update next week, which will include this bill. And maybe based on that discussion, we can plan to come back to the board on the 17th. You are all loading up your retreat agenda very heavily. I would just note that for the board to take a formal position.
Okay.
It gives us another opportunity to get clarity from our purveyors. As Charlotte noted, there is a difference of opinion. We have County Board of Supervisors supported the bill 5-0. And that represents 3 of our retail purveyors. They're the governing body. And then, as we noted, several have taken an oppose and a number have not taken a position.
Correct.
Okay, then we'll plan to do state and fed pledge update next week and bring the board a more detailed discussion on AB 367 at the September 17th board meeting.
Very good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, item C is board director reports. We haven't had any committees.
So we had an ad hoc staff housing committee meeting after the last board meeting. So
We did. That's
I know it seems like it was a long time ago now because it was
That's
like 3 weeks ago.
We had the ad hoc housing committee. Would you like to give the report on that?
Sure.
Fernando?
Yeah, I nominate Fernando to give a report on that committee meeting.
I second.
Great idea.
Second.
Fernando.
Good evening, Board of Directors. So yes, the ad hoc committee met to discuss staff house replacements, and the report was made to the committee that staff house 3 is being investigated on how to replace it via either a direct replacement or rehabbing house. We also discussed the replacement in house 2 in conjunction with replacement in house 3. The committee asked for a report back as staff investigated the best method to implement the replacement of those 2 houses in parallel. So we are looking forward to set up schedule the next committee meeting in the next 2 or 3 weeks. We have more information to report back. Any questions?
I was excited about, after that update, I was able to crunch some of the numbers during the committee meeting, and I was excited to see kind of where they fell. It made everything kind of make a little more sense as far as a financial benefit to the district and to staff. And the numbers all worked out. So that was a nice kind of surprise.
Agreed. Okay, questions, comments from the board? Okay, thank you, Fernando.
Thank you.
Thanks for stepping in.
Okay, next up is board member report on ancillary duties, Aqua Region 8 Director.
Yeah, so on August 7th, I forwarded the board's vote for the slate of officers in Aqua. And then on August 13th, there was the quarterly policy committee meetings, of which I attended the welcome water management and a little late to the energy one. But anyway, I guess that's all I have to report for that.
Thank you, Director Quady. Aqua JPA,
No report.
AWA.
No meetings in August. They are dark.
Fox Canyon GMA.
Yes, this afternoon I did attend Fox Canyon GMA board meeting remotely. The new executive officer attended the first meeting, introduced himself. It appears that he has a very good qualifications. You may know he came from the Navy. I'm sure you have heard about his name.
No.
He seemed to be very well qualified, and he made good presentations this morning. His name is John Demers, Demers. And he was a range sustainability officer for the United States Navy Naval Aviation Warfare Center, Weapons Division in Point Mugu. And he also have had more than 20 years of uniform service before he became a civilian.
Interesting change of career.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he also has experience in adjudication. He claims he has done 2 adjudications within California, groundwater basin adjudications.
Going from air to ground and water.
Yeah.
So at least so far, I think it looks like we have a good executive officer. Moving forward, see how it all works out.
Good.
And the other thing I just want to report is on the GMA board's agenda. This was a short meeting today. It was only 40 minutes. Usually they last 2 hours or more. They did talk about stipend or payments to the directors. The director staff to come back with a $100 per meeting, maximum of 10 meetings. My understanding is the GMA law does not allow any payment for the directors when they attend staff meet or board meetings. However, under the water code, they qualify for it. So they're taking advantage of the water code and they have justified it. And it was a long discussion at the GMA board meeting. No discussion mainly was about, should it be only for the GMA board meetings and GMA committee meetings, or should it be for the conferences? Lot of discussion about it.
Wow.
And the board, some of the board members said, we only want GMA business, nothing else. We don't want to have them paid for other workshops or seminars.
So the
It was
individual,
interesting discussion.
so the individual agencies that they're representing at the GMA don't compensate them
Right.
for attending the GMA. That just sounds silly.
So that was the longest item they had.
Some do, and some of them don't represent agencies. Some of the landowners don't have someone to pay them.
That's right. Yeah,
Right.
landowners.
And just a small clarification based on the reaction, I saw that GMA enabling legislation doesn't allow, it also doesn't prohibit. So it's silence on whether they can. pay.
Yes. Yeah.
That's the reason they're relying on the water code.
Yes, I said that. I should have said, I should have silent on it. Yes. So anyway, good discussion. It looks is going to be approved, $100 per day, per meeting, say, maximum 10 meetings. However, we don't know where they go with the GMA business or other AWA, for example. If somebody goes to AWA workshops or seminars, they may not get paid.
Okay.
That was very interesting to me.
I guess it depends on your involvement on the board and what your position is. That would affect kind of how it makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, interesting.
Thank you.
Well, that's all I have to report on GMA.
Thank you, Director Pacala. Director McMillan, Metropolitan.
Yeah, it's been kind of a busy month with the GM interviews going on. But on August the 8th, I met with the general counsel to go over her review. The weekly legislative update with the chair via Zoom and the ad hoc committee on ag and tribal partnerships. August 10 to 12, there was a Met special board meeting and a finance corporation meeting. On August the 14th, the North Caucus and the weekly, can't spell weekly correctly, legislative update with the chair. August the 15th, the Delta Construction Authority Board meeting. August the 17th to the 19th, the MWD committee and board meetings, and I've listed all 9 actions that were taken. August the 20th was MWD Advocacy Day in support of the DCP. And then August 21 through the 22nd was the Delta Construction Authority Board meeting. And then we had a special board meeting August 25 to 26 to discuss the interviews, GM interviews. That's it.
Wow, busy. I did want to ask you about the general managers and was it maybe the rest of the board, see what the rest of the board thinks, but I hope that you take into account, I'm sure you will, somebody who will understand our district and what we go through as a state water dependent area and all that good stuff, right? Hopefully not an outsider from far away. I have watched all the meetings.
Yeah, I can't really discuss.
It was all closed session.
Yeah.
There was a lot of closed session, but I've watched.
We've got great candidates
a
though,
lot
I'll
of it,
tell you that. We've
and
got
it's,
great.
The public seems pretty angry too, as usual.
I mean, I don't know of any public meeting where you hire your top executive.
Yeah.
Especially, I don't know. Anyway, right now, they're pretty messy right now.
They are.
Because, collaborating or trying to collaborate with 36 of board members, it's tough.
Yeah, I think one of your closed sessions was like 4 hours.
Oh, yeah.
I tried to hold on until you guys came back and I went, I don't think they're gonna say anything
No,
anyways.
it's, like I said, they're brutal.
Yeah.
Thank you, Director McMillan. Item F is LAFCO. We have not had a LAFCO meeting. BCREA,
Yeah, there was a meeting on August 21st. However, I could not attend. I think Director Quady, Scott, did you attend the meeting?
Yes, sir, I did. As your alternate, I did. And so
Thank you.
I wanted to highlight the three things that I got most out of it. When they have presentations, they're usually talking about identifiable activity, available programs regionally. So they had one program on the heat action plan, which is kind of a tiered development of a countywide plan from the state. But the countywide plan is to cover 625, 1227. This is something that's to be applied to Simi, Moore Park, Ventura, Oxnard, TO, Santa Paula, and Port Hueneme. And it's typically, because of its climate resilience component, it's for planning grant purposes. Another presentation was from the Three County Regional Energy Network. It's often called 3C REN, and that operates off of California Public Utilities Commission dollars. And so they just went over their scope of services and end up landing in the more domestic side of savings, incentives and training, technical assistance, and not too much wholesaler related information. Then the Clean Power Alliance presentation, Alex Ricklefs. I have his card for you ready. And basically they were talking about their 14 programs that they have. And so I won't go through all those, but their site is cleanpoweralliance.org. And just one thing that I thought was kind of fun that I got out of it was that I didn't realize that there were smart chargers out there that could automatically select cheaper charging times at home. So that was kind of a fun thing to know.
Thank you. Thank you for filling in for me.
thank you,
Anytime.
Director Quady.
Some cars do it for you. Sometimes it's the chargers, sometimes it's the car.
Ventura County Special Districts Association.
You don't mind, as the rep, we will be hosting the Ventura County Special Districts Association meeting here on Tuesday at 5:30. So we will have a tour. Yes, on Tuesday, the 2nd, there will be a tour of the plant followed by business meeting, and then I'm giving a brief presentation. So if you'd like to attend, please be sure to let Karen know.
My update is there was no meeting in August.
Thank you. All right, Director list of admin reimbursable meetings other than ancillary duties. Director McMillan.
August the 15th, we had a strategy meeting to discuss the packet for Metropolitan. On August the 23rd, I did SDA training, Mastering Good Governance for a Better Board. On August the 24th, again, training for Mastering Capital Project Financing. August the 25th, I did training to develop and update comprehensive emergency operations plan. And then tonight's special board meeting.
Thank you, Director. Director Roberts.
On the 7th, there was the ad hoc housing committee meeting. On the 12th, Metropolitan's asset financing. On the 18th, Port Hueneme's city council meeting. 19th, finance committee meeting, 26th, subcommittee on imported water, and tonight's board meeting.
Thank you. Director Quady.
Maybe confusing too.
Hello? Hello. Yeah, so on August 20th, I did the capital project evaluations followed by a review of the Metropolitan Subcommittee on Imported Water. So, and that was fun. And then the 21st, besides doing the VCREA meeting, I did a meeting with the GM. And since 8/24, I've been up here at the CSDA conference. And I also did my disc assessment on the 25th. So, but on the conference, I don't know if I should go this or if I should just wait for Charlotte to summarize. But anyway, quite a neat thing to see up here. as you know, I've been around a while, and this is the first time I've been to a CSDA conference.
They're very good.
So that's it seems so granular to me that they're really hitting the rubber's hitting the road here. So it really was impressive, and we had a lot of neat things happen just today. That we got to meet with Mahalia Cohen, the controller, and I'll let Charlotte talk more about that. And then the outreach award that Calleguas won. I just again want to congratulate the team at Calleguas that brought that about. It was a very impressive presentation as well. And I hope you all feel real great about that, because that was quite impressive. And then next to us was the Ventura County Fire Department, and they won their award for an innovation thing about plasma and blood handling. And that was really impressive. But we got to talk with them a bit, and so great day today and tonight's board meeting.
Okay, thank you, Director Quady. Director Pacala.
Yes, August 7th, I attended a presentation by our hydrogeologist with the general manager and the deputy general manager about Calleguas Las Posas Basin groundwater model review. On August 14th, I attended the Water District 1 CAC meeting in Moore Park. On August 27th, today, I attended GMA remotely and today's board meeting.
Thank you, Director Pacala. I will be reporting on my meetings at the next board meeting next week because I forgot my list at home. But it was many of the same ones that some of you attended. Okay, and with that, we have a discussion regarding upcoming meetings to be attended by the board.
I could just highlight a few things. I already mentioned the Ventura County Special Districts Association. The meeting on September 17th, the retreat. I just want to remind the board that if you've not already done your DISC assessment online, please do so. And you will be getting some automated reminders if you have not. And then the timing of that, it's a little different than is reflected on this. We'll be having lunch at 11:30, start the meeting at noon. We expect the retreat portion to run about 4 hours and then move on to the business meeting, the regular business on the 4th, which I was trying to keep very light, but tonight's meeting has not necessarily supported that in.
All right. Thank you. Here to work after all. We have a request for future agenda items besides what's already been added.
The meeting after the next, we expecting a housing committee update? Is that what you were saying?
We're expecting to schedule an ad hoc committee meeting sometime in the next couple of weeks ahead of the meeting of the 17th, with the goal of bringing the capital project budget to the board on the 17th for approval.
Okay, that's how that's gonna line up.
Sorry,
That is-
I can answer it by the time you got to the podium.
Got it. Thanks. Thank you.
Thank you, Fernando. Thank you, Christine. Board comments, item 10. Any board comments? Okay, no board comments. Information items, support letter from Conejo Recreation and Parks District to Senator Henry Stern, Delta Conveyance Project increasing water availability. Everyone got to see those information items.
Yeah, and I just want to acknowledge the great support that Conejo Recreation and Park District has demonstrated by sending this letter. We're at a very critical moment in terms of the future of the Delta Conveyance Project, and being able to demonstrate support from kind of non-traditional sectors such as Conejo Recreation and Park District is really much appreciated. They've been a really great partner to us in this and in many other ways.
Yeah, talking about the Delta Conveyance letter, this morning at the Legislative Affairs Committee for the Simi Valley Chamber of Commerce, guest speaker was Chris Collier. He's the lobbyist from Rincon Consultants for the Tri-Counties chambers. So many of the chambers throughout the county, and he spoke a little bit on the Delta Conveyance Project and the trailer bill, and he believes that the governor really wants that pushed. So he says he thinks the governor will find his 2 votes he needs.
I very much hope you are correct, and we are continuing
Take on it.
to work on ways we can support it. and demonstrate our support as well as, work with, as I said, non-traditional partners like the park district to demonstrate how important it is to them as well.
Yeah.
Who doesn't like parks?
Director Quady.
Yeah, I just wanted to almost kind of jump on what Christine was saying is I just want to thank the Conejo Recreation Park District for their support on the with that letter. Thank you.
Thank you. And with that, we are closing the open session and going into closed session.
Red. There you go. We're live.
And with that, the closed session is closed and we are back in open session.
And direction was given to staff and council on both closed session items and no reportable action was taken.
With that, we are